Hi, everybody. Welcome to today's episode of Shape Unplugged. I'm your host, Stephanie Morris, and today I have a very special guest joining me, Terri, the current president of Shape America and the founder and coordinator of the Health and Physical Education Collaborative. Terri, thank you so much for joining us today and being our guest.
Thank you, Stephanie. I am so excited to be here.
So first and foremost, I know everybody listening is probably just wondering, how are you? How are things and what is life like for you right now?
Life is good. Life is good. We're getting used to not wearing a mask and being together again with people. So that all feels great. I am looking forward to being able to visit my family up in Canada, which fingers crossed we'll be doing soon. But other than that, life is pretty great. So thanks for asking.
So I know that advocacy is really important to you. You've been such a strong advocate for health and PE programs in schools. I'm sure you've also been thinking about this incredibly unique and challenging time in our country and all that's ahead for health and physical education teachers. So along those lines, can you share your thoughts with our listeners today on what you think teachers can do to advocate now for health and PE programs in their schools, and why is it so important that they do so?
Sure. I think right now we have a fabulous opportunity to draw attention to the contribution we make always to the lives of our students. In particular, right now, when the priorities of school are to heal children and to rebuild school community, we have a massive contribution to make. And of course, we're important all the time, but right now we can step up and play a really important role. So we need to draw attention to that. And I think we need to be able to articulate specifically how we can contribute. So some of the needs that I see that our students have are the need to belong and get along, first of all. And as you know, those are social emotional competencies. So here's our opportunity to draw attention to the fact that we are the only subjects that have social emotional competencies as part of our standards. And specifically in health and physical education, we can build our students' sense of belonging by allowing them to be successful and develop their self-confidence. And as well, they have opportunities to build relationships and interact with each other. And the ability to get along, which is vital for successful engagement in the classroom, in the hallway, on the playground. That's our wheelhouse too. We work on this as well by building skills such as cooperation, inclusion, and conflict resolution. So two very specific ways that we can contribute to healing children. But as well, our kids need to move. I don't think I need to say too much about that. They have not been moving enough, with screen time up 100%. As well, they need to laugh. And in particular, talking about PE, movement is fun. It's joyful. Good for the heart and the soul. And there's no other opportunity during the school day for them to have those kind of opportunities. So again, that's something unique that we can provide. And our students also have the need to learn. And there's such concern right now about learning loss. And we will agree with that. Their learning loss in health education and physical education is also important. They're learning it in our subjects just as important as learning how to read and write. And we need to get back to it. It's been disrupted for a year and a half. And we know there's lifelong implications. Kids that don't develop movement competency, they're excluded from physical activity and again, lifelong implications. So some very specific ways that we can meet students' needs. And I think we can capitalize on this opportunity by drawing everybody's attention to what we can do.
Absolutely agree. Thank you so much for that, Terri. I know that national board certification is also something that has really impacted you as a professional. Can you share some thoughts with everybody listening about this experience and what it meant to you as a teacher and why you would encourage others to consider going through it?
Yeah. Yes, national board certification was transformational for me and completely changed the way that I teach. And I think completely changed me as a professional. The hardest, without doubt, professionally, the hardest thing I've ever done, but the most worthwhile. And not only to make me a better teacher, but gave me the confidence to step up and be a leader. And I'm sure I would not be here talking to you today if I hadn't become national board certified. The value of it is that it's job embedded. And as you're striving to meet the national board standards for what accomplished teachers do, and there's 12 or so of them, standards such as know your subject matter, know your students, establish a safe learning environment. As you're striving to provide evidence that you do this, you're constantly changing and modifying your practice so you can generate that evidence. And that is the value there, is that it's so job embedded. I highly recommend it for teachers. I do believe before embarking on natural board certification, people should be fully familiar with what they're getting into. It is a huge, huge time commitment from 1 to 3 years. And my experience is teachers that struggle the most are the ones that do not realize how much time they need to give to it. So I'll say that, but I know within our organization, there are so many excellent teachers that are ready to take their teaching to the next level. So I encourage you to find out more. And to do that, we have a national board SIG, special interest group, headed up by Susan Leonard and Kate Cox, and they meet monthly. And that's a good place to kind of get involved with and find out more to see if it's for you and if it's for you right now. And then if it is, we're going to nudge you and give you a little encouragement to do it.
Thank you, Terri. That sounds like such a powerful experience. And I really hope that everybody who's listening will pause and learn more and consider joining one of the monthly meetings of that SIG, because I agree there's so much great information to be learned at those meetings, and to use it to reflect on whether this is the right path for somebody listening today. So thank you for all of that. Now I want to turn us to talk a little bit about health literacy and physical literacy. As everybody knows, they are fundamental to everything that Shape America seeks to achieve. I know you've spent a lot of time considering how we can better advance them within our profession. Can you share a few thoughts along those lines as a profession in terms of what are our next steps here?
Yeah. Well, health literacy and physical literacy are why. That is what we're striving to achieve in our programs. That's what is accomplished in quality health education, quality physical education programs. So the power of the why, starting with your why, which should guide every decision you make. And we started using health literacy and physical literacy to describe what we do in our programs in 2014, but it feels like teachers haven't fully embraced the terms. So I think we have some work to help them feel comfortable with health literacy and physical literacy, so it becomes part of their common language, and also that is used to guide instruction. So one of the benefits is when our goal is, let's talk about physical education, is develop competent and confident and motivated movers, then we design instruction to achieve that, of course, with our standards as a foundation of what we do. So we got to know where we're going, and then that will help us to get there. So it's important for professional practice, but also important for advocacy. We are hearing a lot of conversation currently about how education needs to change, that our factory model is not serving our students right, that we need to provide all students with what they need to flourish. I think we'd all agree that health literacy and physical literacy are part of what our students need to flourish. By using those terms, it's a language that people understand, that parents understand, teachers and administrators, because literacy is the goal of schooling. So it helps them to understand what we're trying to accomplish. Well, there's that. And as well, I think there's potential for joining forces with parents and community organizations and sport organizations, because we all have the same goal, which is, if we're talking about physical literacy, we all have a different part to play. We shouldn't be competing with each other. I feel sometimes we're competing with physical activity, but actually we are the opportunities kids have to learn from a trained professional. And then activities such as school sports or even marching band is their opportunity to be active. So we are a team and we work together. If we can all get together, we can amplify our voice and have a much more powerful impact on the decision makers and the people that are deciding how much they want to support our subject areas in school. So 3 places to start. We've got a lot of work to do, but I think it's really exciting.
I agree completely. And thank you so much for those thoughts. I hope that everybody listening is reflecting on the role that they can play, just along those very lines as you just mentioned. And so, finally, for today's conversation, for every teacher out there listening right now, I can imagine they may be feeling exhausted. They may be feeling burned out from all of the challenges that this past year presented. So, what words of advice do you have for them?
I think we just need to remind ourselves of what our students have missed most the past year and a half, and it's you. You, in particular, as health educators and physical educators, have such a unique relationship with your students. You impact their lives in a way that no other can. And your students are going to be so excited to see you in person. And we all have such great appreciation now for human contact and face to face interaction. I think next year is going to be special, really special. And as well, we've missed each other. We haven't been together as an HPE family for a long time, and we're going to be able to get together. I am so excited to see everybody. We're going to have opportunities to meet at the local level, state, and shape NOLA. Can't think of a better place for us to get back together and celebrate the end of the pandemic and moving forward together as a profession.
What inspiring words to end on. And I can't thank you enough. And I am equally as excited for all of that, especially Shape NOLA, of course, where, by the way, I will mention that we will make sure to recognize next year's class of NBCT certified PE and health teachers. That's always a really important piece of our national convention. So just putting that out there now. But yes, thank you for all of that, Terri. I think those are such inspiring words for everybody listening. Certainly took me back to the moments I've had over the years to visit PE classes and health education classes, and to see that connection between students and those teachers is so powerful. And I know we're all really, really ready to get back to that. So thank you for that reminder. Thank you again for being our guest on Shape Unplugged today. I can't tell you how much I know everybody in our community appreciates it and is so excited to hear from you. Any closing words for us and the members listening?
Well, I do have like one ask is that when school starts back and you sit back down with your administrator and they ask you what your goals are for the year, you can list off improve your professional practice, become better at standards-based instruction or inclusion or whatever. And guess what? Shape NOLA will have sessions for you to learn how to do that. So please include in your ask that they fund you to attend the national convention. It's a great opportunity that we have now that for many, there's so much money available for professional development.
Absolutely. I love that ask. I hope everyone takes that to heart. And thank you so much again for being our guest, Terri. We really appreciate your time and the energy that you are bringing to this critical leadership position within our community. So thank you.
Well, thank you. This has been a pleasure.
All right, everybody. Thank you for your time listening to today's episode of Shape Unplugged. Again, I'm your host, Stephanie Morris, and I'm really excited for the season ahead of all of the Shape Unplugged episodes that we have planned. So I hope you'll continue to tune in. Thank you.